Hey everyone, just a quick message before the episode starts. Yikes has some merch available on redbubble.com. We've got 3 t-shirt designs and a whole bunch of stickers, so be sure to check it out. Link will be in the description below. Thanks so much.
Alright, how are we gonna sync?
Wow, burps look really weird in Audacity.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so here's how we're gonna sync up. I'm gonna say Baba Black Sheep, and then you guys are gonna say Have you any wool?
Alright.
Okay, so
Alright.
Baba Black Sheep.
Have you any wool?
Yes sir, 3 bags troll. Alright.
Whoa.
Oh my god, I hate you.
I think I'm just gonna leave that in. That was a pretty good sync.
No, for who? Who is that a good sting for?
For
Anybody with ears?
We'll see how our viewership of 12 people feel about puns.
Stop making fun of our... Stop.
Hey, you gotta grow. Speaking of growing, well actually no, we'll talk about this later. We have to start the video, so...
Okay. Hey everyone. This is me. I'm starting the video. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Tyguy.
And that's it.
Are you guys
That's it.
That was just Tyler this episode.
You guys have to
We're not
introduce
here.
yourselves. We forgot to do it last time.
Okay, Jacob, go.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Jacob. Welcome
And
to our
together,
show. We're gay.
Jacob.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Have you guys made any progress on the game you've been working on since the last time?
Game who?
Right. That was a good segue. Good job, me. Speaking of video games,
Whoa.
What?
let's talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not
And capitalism.
Not the good one. The new one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just I'll go ahead and start from the beginning, and then when I get to a part that you guys know a lot about, you can just chime in. So EA published Star Wars Battlefront, like the first one, and it was really like meh. It wasn't good, but it wasn't like bad. It was just kind of okay. So when they said they were putting their heart and soul into making the second one, everyone got really excited, and they showed off footage and gameplay at E3, and everyone was getting so hyped. Even me, I was kind of like, whoa, I'm never going to buy this game, but I'm going to sit here and say that I like it because it looks cool. And then some news started coming out. We got loot boxes. And
Everybody
in-game
loves loot
credits.
boxes. Currently being investigated in Belgium for gambling, but it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so EA just kind of took the heart and soul that this game had and just hid it under a bunch of... Oh god, my stomach, I'm so sorry.
Are you gonna edit that out, or are you just gonna leave that in?
Oh, I'm totally gonna leave that in. People need to know that I'm dying.
People need to know that you're doing your Rick impression.
Oh, don't even. We talked about this already. We
Morty,
talked about Rick and Morty.
You gotta suck my balls, Morty. You gotta. That was pretty good, right, Jacob?
First of all, it's lick my balls, and second of all, don't talk about Rick and Morty on my show ever again.
Wait, hold up. Before we drop this topic completely, Jacob, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good was that?
What was what? Your impression?
Yeah, my spot-on Rick Sanchez impression.
Honestly, probably like a 15.
Honestly, like, good. Alright, we can move on now.
Okay, well, that was the background part. EA fucking sucks, their loot box system fucking sucks, and their in-game credit system fucking sucks. Nick, I think I remember you saying that you had some links to share with us.
Do you need me to send you the links?
No, I wanted you to read them.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll start out with the first most important one, which was a comment that someone made about the game, which I don't have anymore because I scrolled too far.
Oh
but
my fucking god!
So basically, it's not really important what the comment says specifically, because essentially what it boiled down to is calling out EA for being the gross capitalists that the gaming industry has become, and saying you put Darth Vader behind two $80 pay barriers. And because the important thing is there's loot boxes, but you can also pay real money to unlock the specific characters you want, because of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think someone did the math on Reddit, and you have to basically pay, like, 200, or not 200, like, is it, like, $260? Like, it's something...
For what, to unlock everything?
Or, no, to unlock everything's, like, a shit ton. I think to unlock
unlock everything was over $2,000.
Yeah, to unlock...
Holy fuck!
No, yeah, there's a link
or,
to...
I think it was, like, over 40,000 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, and I think to unlock Darth Vader specifically, it's like 260, maybe 240. So, essentially, the important thing to take away from this is, giant pay barrier. And so, Redditor made a comment saying this is complete bullshit, because it is. And then EA responded with this. And this is the worst, to quote Critical, this is like the worst PR move I've ever seen of anything ever. So, here it is, verbatim. The internet is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per-player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course attainable via gameplay. Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate the candid... Wait, hold on, this is the best part. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. First of all, candid feedback means blind, guttural outrage, and passion just translates to the pure detritus of the gaming community, which is nothing but salt, rage, and pencil dicks. Like, here's my comment. I'm probably jumping the gun by 2 steps, but I always do, so who cares? I don't agree with anything that EA did regarding the pay barrier, the loot box system, the price of the initial game itself, like $80 for a video game. I would never pay $80 for a video game unless it was $80.
Unless it was like... It was $80 for the deluxe edition that would get you access to the game like 3 days early, I think.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for... Okay. Still, that's ridiculous. And the idea that they've selected these values based upon some kind of data is completely absurd. That's utterly absurd. That's so fake. Like...
It's really interesting because that comes back to being their excuse for, like, pretty much everything, because, later on, we'll get into, the devs did an AMA on Reddit, and people asked a lot of hard-hitting questions, and basically they just kind of dodged around the whole issue, and one of the things that came up numerous times was like, well, this is based off of data that we got from, like, the beta, and we're gonna, like, keep tweaking it and adjusting it to make sure that it's, like, a really good game.
So here's what I'm taking from them constantly saying, oh, we got it from the beta, is they're trying to say, this is your fault. You played our beta.
Yeah,
you gave us this data. We're only interpreting it.
It's the data, man.
Fuck. No, you know what this reminds me of? Okay, Jacob, this reminds me of, do you remember Elder Scrolls Online when it first launched? Like, when it was in beta? You didn't? Okay. So, long time ago, I think like 4 years now, maybe it's 3 or 4, I don't know. However many years ago, Elder Scrolls Online launched a beta. I was one of the people that got to get into the beta because it was a pretty big open beta. You know, it wasn't really that rigorous of a selection process or anything. And so you got in, and it was like WoW, basically, but instead of WoW, it's Elder Scrolls. And it was really fun to play. But on launch, the game itself cost $60 up front. You couldn't play it unless you paid $60. And then on top of that, you had to pay a $12 subscription fee. Sorry, not P. Fee. Shut up, I hate you guys. Fee per month. And so I hate subscription fees. That's why I don't play WoW, because I am the type of person that'll play a video game for like 3 days straight and then never play it for the rest of the month and then come back to it like a few weeks later.
Right.
And a lot of people are like that. So I never play subscription-based games. But to ask for like, an initial like, buy of the game up front in addition to subscription, that's just completely unreasonable. So when the game came out, nobody played it. Well, that's not true. Like, people did play it, but it wasn't anywhere near the numbers they were expecting on launch.
Right.
And so I don't remember how far down the road, but, Bethesda went back and was like, okay, no more subscription fee. We're reducing the cost of the initial game. The base game, I think, cost $20 on their official website. We can find it for, like, as low as $6 on, like, different, like, websites that'll give you, like, virtual keys to it. And then they're like, we're going to make the game way cheaper, and we'll just release DLC content, which, while not ideal, is a much better system, because if you just want to play the base version of the game, you can. If you want more, you can buy it. Like, that makes sense to me. That's not too unreasonable.
That's much preferable to what, like, the way that they handled it by, like, actually listening to feedback and making changes.
Even if their feedback
I don't want to spoil anything, but all the feedback that I've seen from EA so far is like, yeah, we're willing to make pretty much any changes that we need to. And that pretty much is the part where they, like, are implying that they're not going to budge on the whole microtransactions, loot boxes, and all that stuff.
Oh, of course they won't. Microtransactions are... Shut up. I hate you
Microaggressions.
both.
No.
Okay, microtransactions
Good.
I can't talk tonight. Microtransactions make way more money in the long run than, like, a initial pay barrier of, like, anything.
Absolutely.
How much money does Blizzard make a day on Hearthstone with their booster packs? It's
not even Hearthstone. If you just look at the Overwatch numbers, they made in the billions on loot boxes.
Okay.
And I'm completely guilty of that. I've dropped money on loot boxes around Halloween because I want that fucking Zenyatta cultist skin because it looks flippin' cool.
This is one of the topics that I wanted to get into because I saw a lot of people were saying, like, after the whole thing of, like, it takes, like, 40,000 hours or whatever to, like, unlock everything in the game. I'd seen some people who I can only assume were just, like, ignorant, responding like, well, I don't get what, like, the huge uproar is about, like, TF2, Dota 2, Overwatch, Titanfall, or just Titanfall.
League of Legends. I mean, pick a game.
Yeah, basically, like, all these games, they have loot boxes and stuff. Nobody's sitting there calculating how long it would take to unlock everything in these games, and I'm sure that the time would be similar. The difference is...
Well, let's... Hold on, before we get into this...
With games like Overwatch and Dota, they're cosmetics. They don't affect the gameplay.
Well,
hold on, guys. We need to finish talking about EA. This was like...
Oh, you're right.
We're getting into the second half of what we wanted to talk about for the podcast. Like,
man,
that was like our question was gonna be if we want microtransactions and loot boxes to work, what games are doing them right now? And
okay.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up is one thing that I hadn't heard you guys bring up is the fact that the credits that you can get credits from playing arcade mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you earn a certain amount of credits in arcade mode, there's a 3-hour cooldown before you can earn more credits.
Whoa, I didn't know that!
Yup.
Oh!
Yep, they have a cooldown to keep getting in-game currency. Like, they're like, nope, you've gotten enough for now. Give it a cooldown, or pay us money. I mean, you can wait like 3 hours, but like you could just pay us money.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like those mobile games that are just waiting simulators. Where it's like...
and that's exactly the point, is everyone's saying this is an $80 freemium game.
Welcome to Star Wars Clash of Clans 2.
Welcome to Capitalism and Gaming 101 as it proliferates before our very eyes and nothing is done about it because there's nothing we can do.
Well,
you might live your whole life without making any meanable or meaningful, attack towards debunking the crushing system that is hyper-capitalism in America.
While we're still on the topic of microtransactions, just a little bit, what I was talking about that I saw on Twitter, like right before we started recording, was EA has temporarily removed microtransactions from the game upon launch.
So you can't even buy the Darth Vader, you have to play for
Now you can't, well, as of right now, there's still, like, the microtransaction menu, but there's nothing on it. So
that's interesting.
Okay, well, if we're still talking about EA before we start getting into Marxist theory and stuff like that...
I still have...
Yeah, we haven't even touched the AMA.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the AMA, can we talk about just the community right now in general? And I'm talking about, let's do a three-parter, a really quick three-parter of before the announcement, or the breaking news, the outrage and the most downvoted comment in Reddit history, and now the aftermath, which is what we're currently living in. Let's talk about that. So, part one, Phantom Blood. So, what was the Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta community like before this kerfuffle?
I wasn't part of the community as much as I am other things, but from what I can tell, people were, genuinely enjoying the game for the most part. They were excited for the changes that were made. Basically everyone was just really excited to have the Battlefront game they felt like they should have had with the last one. For the most part. There were a couple stragglers here and there who said, it's still just Battlefield with Star Wars skins. But genuinely, a lot of people were like, oh, this is cool. I can't wait to buy this game and not spend any money on microtransactions.
Okay, so I don't know if Jacob had anything to add to that, because I'm not sure what your exposure
really, because
is.
I hadn't been really following the game at all until basically shit hit the fan.
I knew a little bit about the beta and the community before the most downvoted comment in Reddit history, which we're about to get to. I can say this: I have a couple really good friends who I'm close to that are big Star Wars buffs. We can all name one off the top of our head, the three of us, but they were genuinely excited for a new Battlefront game. And it's really weird because Star Wars is one of the most popular, media products that exists right now in terms of sci-fi and stuff, like movies, toys, books, comic books, whatever.
Yeah.
But the amount of critically acclaimed, good, very well polished video games are there's a small handful of them. There's Knights of the Old Republic, the original Battlefield, and probably two others I'm missing.
Battlefield?
And, not Battlefield. And shut up! I hate you both, especially you, Jacob, because you're not saying anything. You're just letting him call me out.
I mean, if he didn't, I would have.
Okay. Well, that and Lego Star Wars are the most critically acclaimed Star Wars games.
Okay, no, honestly, Lego Star Wars...
No, that's not a joke, that's not a joke. It's an actually good game, yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it was a joke, I was about to chime in and say I genuinely love the Lego Star Wars series.
Thank God, because I get people who are like, that game's for kids, that game's no fun. I'm like, bitch, if you played 10 minutes of Lego Star Wars...
but it's also for adults who just
like
like Star Wars or Legos.
How interesting that games can be both for kids and adults, and still
it's almost like you make more money if you make your media intersectional. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say here is, I agree with Tyler completely. There was a lot of really, positive movement towards getting a new Battlefield game because it looked really cool. I remember I saw gameplay.
Battlefield.
Oh my God, Star Wars Battlefront! Stop! I'm sorry.
Stop. What are you more upset about? The fact that I keep calling you out, or the fact that EA is ruining video games?
I'm not. You see, as much as like I know about the community and I have friends who care about the community, I really couldn't give two shits about Star Wars Battlefront. Why me, timey?
You should,
the sequel.
Because
I know we're gonna get
this
into
game keeps on buying out more and more franchises. And
we're gonna get into that.
We're gonna get into that.
We're gonna get into part 2, which is battle tendency rhythm, which is the most downvoted comment in Reddit history, and that is the comment that I read earlier, which is where the EA PR kerfuffle, where they basically said, "So sad, too bad. We're going to do it anyway because we have the product and we know you're going to buy it."
It gives the players a sense of achievement.
Man, grinding 40 hours in a game just to have any relevancy in the competitive scene feels really good. Like, man, I feel like I really achieved something by doing that. Also, can we talk about how that Reddit comment wasn't like, it broke the record for 25k, then 50k, then 100k, then 125k, then 200k, and as of right now it has like negative 6,000k votes and counting, and I'm watching it right now.
That's the last time I looked at it. It was at
I'm gonna reload it. Let's see how many.
614k.
Alright, it's static right now at 676k, but that's still a shit ton of downvotes.
Oh my god.
It's still growing. And there's speculation that, because it's sort of become a meme, like, people are going to make that the most, like, it's going to break 1 million downvotes, like, in the next year or so. That's what people are estimating.
Probably.
I hope so. That'd be hilarious. But that's part 2, which doesn't really need much explaining. We've already kind of explained that. And now the aftermath. Where do we go from here, and how do we find a meaningful segue into Marxist theory and capitalism?
Well, while we're talking about the aftermath, this is where I want to talk about the story of the ghost EA employee that I was bringing up.
Wait, hold on. There's a ghost EA employee?
Well, not ghost, literally.
I thought you meant like
EA employee.
Oh, I thought you meant like ookie spooky EA headquarters is haunted by a ghost.
The CEO of EA was possessed, and that's what made him. He was possessed by the spirit of the devil.
He's been dead this whole time, and we didn't know it. Oh, I see dead gaming franchises. Okay, go.
So, while the backlash was first beginning against EA, there was this Twitter account who posted a tweet that was like, ever since this news came out about Battlefront 2, I've already received thousands of personal attacks and 1,600 death threats, in parentheses, yes, I've been keeping track for legal reasons, parentheses.
Wait a minute.
And basically just started throwing,
that
what?
Wait, where... Okay, continue.
Okay. And then at the end, I don't have the tweet pulled up, and I can't really find it anymore because the account is locked as of right now. But he basically was trying to throw himself a pity party, and a whole bunch of people believed him. Like, major news outlets, including CNBC, believed him and ran a story on it.
No!
And of all networks, Kotaku was the one who had
a journalist. Are they really a network? Are they really a network?
Listen, for how much shit I constantly give Kotaku, you have to give him credit where credit is due.
Okay.
And this guy came out of left field with this article that's like, this EA employee might not actually be an EA employee.
Oh my god, it's the Bye-Bye Man!
So, he writes this article and basically just proves that this guy isn't part of EA by going through old tweets and messaging him directly. And messaging him directly is what made him remove all mentions of EA from his Twitter page and lock his account. Because what he did was he went through his Twitter account and he noticed that he kept tweeting like, yeah, I work at EA and I'm going to be here doing this, blah, blah, blah. But there were some conflicting tweets. Like in one, he said, oh, I just started at EA a few months ago. I can't take any time off to do anything with friends. And then 2 weeks later tweeted like, it's almost going to be my 4th year working at EA. So then he he finds this guy's LinkedIn page and then searches him in the EA employee directory and can't find him based on name or the job that he claims he has. So he DMs the guy directly on Twitter and is like, hey, sorry to hear about what's been happening to you due to the backlash of Battlefront 2. Would you be willing to answer a couple questions, like how no other EA employees know that you exist? And if you don't work at EA, like you claim you have been, let's talk more about that. And then he locked his account and hasn't tweeted at all since.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow. I will say, you're right about the Kotaku thing. You gotta give him credit where credit is due. This guy performed his job as a journalist and found out the truth, I guess.
This was one of the best gaming journalism pieces to come out in a while, and gaming journalism recently has been such a huge fucking joke.
The most exciting thing I think that's happened in gaming journalism is when the gaming journalist outlets stop being as sexist as they were historically, and they're starting to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be assholes to entire sections of our community. Like, you know, like we've seen that shift in the last like 5 or 6 years, and it's been nice. Or the only like gaming article I've really like paid attention to is that one where Blizzard's being investigated in Belgium for their Overwatch like loot box systems being coded as or being technically gambling and illegal.
Yeah.
So I want to see how that develops. That'll be interesting. But yeah, the aftermath is just like, I think it shines a new light on the future of gaming, which could be a good segue into our next section.
Unless, Jacob, did you have anything you wanted to add?
We should talk about the AMA.
Oh shit, you're right.
Oh, I totally forgot about the AMA.
We were like, you've said that like 5 times.
Really good questions with really good responses.
You did really. Was it really good?
So, like, for instance, let's see. Because I'm trying to sort through it because, like, everyone's asking, like, they're allowed to ask up to, like, 3 questions, and so I'm trying to match, like, the question with the answer.
Jacob, if you wanted to talk about this on the podcast, you should have had it prepared.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Yeah, so somebody said, are you aware that it will take a gamer who plays, like, 2 hours a day over 6 years to unlock all the content? Don't you think that's a bit unfair that a large portion of content will be inaccessible for those who have other responsibilities, like work or school, in a game they paid for? And the response was, we've seen a lot of speculation about how long it takes players to earn things, but our averages, based on the Play First trial, are much faster than what's out there. But as more players come in, that could change. We're committed to making progression a fun experience for all our players. Nothing should feel unattainable, and if it does, we'll do what it takes to make sure it's both fun and achievable. As we update and expand arcade mode, we'll be working towards making sure that players can continue to progress without daily limits.
The daily limits shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
There's we'll get into their quote-unquote reasoning behind that in later, but a lot of the responses to his response were basically saying, you haven't given us any numbers, so to say that it's like a lot faster doesn't actually mean a whole lot, because it could be like 3,000 hours as opposed to 4,500. It's like, that's still a really, really long time, and it would technically be much faster. Like,
yeah, but proportionally, blah blah blah, you know.
Exactly. So it's like he's just like, oh well, I don't know where these numbers are coming from, but like ours that we calculated with the data from the beta were much faster, and it's like,
it's such bullshit. It's so transparent. Like you don't provide any evidence. You don't provide anything to a rabid community that isn't gonna. Well, I shouldn't say that they're not gonna buy the game, because that's my other whole issue with this whole debacle, is that EA doesn't care if like 500,000 people who downvoted a comment on Reddit don't buy their game. They care if the 6,000 other people that don't go on Reddit, who don't care about Reddit or the controversy or whatever, go and buy their game and spend about $80 to $90 on the game. If they can make that kind of money off of a different group of people, then they don't care.
Which is true. There are still shit ton of people who are planning on buying the game, but even for EA, I would say that what also happened in the backlash was pretty rough. They had multiple, it was either hundreds or thousands of people cancel pre-orders.
Oh yeah, okay, I was reading speculation about this and I could never confirm whether it was true or not, but allegedly they removed the refund button from like their page.
Apparently,
so that you had to call in.
I saw that too. Apparently, that's always been the case for pre-orders.
Okay.
And since the game was still technically on pre-order, you still had to call in. Because I saw a whole bunch of screen caps of their messages. Because, like, there's the in-Origin app, like, messaging thing. So they cancel their pre-order, and then they'll get a message that says, "May we know the reason for the cancellation?" And my favorite screenshot is just some guy who responded with, "Same as all the others. You know what I'm talking about." And the representative just says, "Right." Like,
oh, that's brilliant. But yeah, we have somebody else who is saying, like, even among game journalists, the progression system sticks out as a clear sore point in what would otherwise look like a very well-made game, to the point that for many, it's souring the whole experience. Are you considering radical changes to the system? Is there anything you've decided you won't change? The response was, "I think this concern has come through loud and clear. We're going to continue adjusting the crate system, content, and progression mechanics to hit a point that gives players a great, balanced experience at all skill levels. We're working on expanding the number of ways that players can progress, putting more control in their hands, and providing more options and choice in the way people play. There's not much in the game that we wouldn't revisit to improve the game for as many players as possible." And the immediate comment below it is just quoting him saying, "There's not much in the game that we wouldn't revisit to improve the game for as many players as possible," and just in all caps, "then remove the pay-to-win aspects of the loot crate system." Like, if they're saying there's not much we wouldn't do, and it's like, then do the thing that literally everybody is asking you. It's so bad.
Somebody like that's what we're gonna get into later. Is like, no matter what the fans are saying, like, there's not even a thought in EA's mind to get rid of their moneymaker in the game, and that's what's really scary for like the future of games.
Well, okay, I think maybe now we should talk about like loot box systems and what works and what doesn't work in other games.
It sounded like Jacob was about to. It sounded like Jacob was about to go into more.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring that up.
Basically, there's a lot of comments that are just really good in this, but the one thing that I found really interesting is there's somebody who said, "As a father with young kids, the two things that I lack are time and money. For all players like myself, with the vertical progression of the star card system, how can we progress in game and stay on even footing with those that have hours and hours to grind daily, or those that are willing to put down a ton of money for loot crates, for power increases, for star cards and hero unlocks, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was that it's mainly through matchmaking. We take into account not only your gameplay skills, but also inventory and time played. When we match players together in multiplayer, you should not ever be match made together with players who are much better than you. Ultimately, your effectiveness comes down to skill, not the star cards that you have. If it doesn't feel that way, we'll see it on our side too. Our data will tell that story, and we'll make adjustments. Looking at results from millions of matches, and we'll be continuously rebalancing items, unlocks, and matchmaking to create a fair, fun experience for all our players. Beyond that, all star cards have a maximum value regardless of how they are unlocked. Here's the thing, though. When I was reading through this earlier, one of the replies below that was a video. And it was a video of a man who had unlocked Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
And he's real excited. I want to say he bought him. He's real excited. He bought Boba, and he's trying him out. And it looks like pretty decent gameplay, actually. Like, you know, he's got like his like blasters and everything, and then he has like a missile barrage that he can do. He's basically like Farah because he has a jetpack and everything.
Oh yeah, dude, Star Wars is totally ripping off of Overwatch.
It's really just, we'll get to that later, man. But and so it's pretty interesting watching him play. He's like having to like be really careful about like how he's maneuvering around and constantly like backing off so that he doesn't get killed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has 3 max level of the star cards that he equips, and it just becomes a point and click adventure.
Oh my god!
So he equips
like
one of
basically
these, like,
the missile barrage. When he first launched the missile barrage, he's like, "That's the missile barrage." After the star card is on, like, it's basically look at people, missile barrage, and like everyone that was in close proximity is dead.
Oh my fucking god!
So it's
He
like
can
a fair
fly
alt,
for like
but,
extended periods of times, and it's basically he literally just like hunts down the target and just like presses the missile barrage button and they die, and that's ta-da.
Dude, like, I feel rewarded. I feel like the skill cap in this game is just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Bellissimiso buso. Like, I just...
It's just really
Oh,
interesting
God.
to see them just like
That was a good one.
completely avoid questions and just lie through their teeth about everything. I'm not saying that I was expecting better, but it's amusing to see.
What I'm more curious about is what did they think they were going to accomplish with an AMA? If they knew that they weren't going to be able to answer people's most hard-hitting questions honestly, what were they actually trying to do? Were they planning on showing up and using their technical jargon to make people go, "Oh, you know, that makes sense. I'm gonna pre-order this game and I'm gonna drop my entire life savings on it so I can buy half of Darth Vader's right boot"?
I mean, I think realistically, it's somewhat public knowledge that like everyone is really pissed off at them, and this is basically their way of saying like, look, we extended an olive branch, we decided to talk it out with them, and like we're taking their feedback very seriously, and that's why we're going to tweak the loot box system instead of getting rid of it, and we're going to keep the microtransactions, but don't worry, we'll be constantly making sure that it's completely balanced like it is right now.
What about, did they talk about altering the cooldown system for credit earning in arcade mode?
Let me see.
Remember when you could just launch Battlefront 2 for your original Xbox and or PS2 system and just play
Another
the
thing that I saw that
goddamn
was
game?
really interesting was that somebody had pointed out that like you don't necessarily get credits for how well you play. Like there were these 2 guys who were playing, and one of them was like literally in last place and the other one was in first place with like way more kills.
Mm-hmm.
The first place person got 20 more credits.
What the fuck?
How much, like,
So like instead of
what's the
credits
ratio
being
of credits
based upon
per,
like
like-
your score and how many kills you have and all that stuff, it's instead like everyone gets credits. First place gets like 20 more credits. Second place gets like 10 more credits, and third place gets like 5 more credits. Ta-da! We
How much is 20
do
credits,
reward
though?
you for how well you play. See,
Oh my god.
How much is 20 credits, though? Like, I know it's probably not a lot, but, like, in the game itself, like, how much does 20 credits really get you? Do you really know? Like, is that a lot? Is that... Basically, I'm just confirming, because I'm
apparently
pretty
it's
sure...
enough that people who are playing the game and are on the losing side feel bad for the people on the winning side.
Oh, yikes.
Okay.
Because that's what the question was phrased as.
Hey,
Like, yeah, me and my
that's the
friend
name
were
of the
playing, like,
podcast.
I was last on the server and he was in first, and he only got 20 more credits than me. Like, what the hell?
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, okay, and this is
Wow,
someone
wow,
asked
wow.
about the credit cap. It says, my job keeps me incredibly busy, and oftentimes I just want to come home and relax against AI. I've noticed that the amount of credit is capped per day in arcade mode to 500. With crates' current cost, I would have to max the system out for 8 days in a row to afford just one crate. Do you have any plans to change up the arcade values?
What?
Casual players like me could afford more than 2 or 3 crates a month. And so the response is that as we want to let players earn credits offline via a more relaxed game mode, we need to also find a way to make sure that it wouldn't be exploited in a way that would impact multiplayer. Because of that, we made the decision to limit the number of credits earned to stop potential abuse. We'll be looking at data continually to make adjustments and make things as balanced as possible. As for arcade, just like every mode in our game, we want to look for ways to expand it going forward. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't have anything to share right now.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And here's the issue, is they're like, we don't want people to exploit the offline mode where you're fighting against AI to get credits and, like, get better at it. Like, it would affect multiplayer. As opposed to the people who just drop $2,000 and are affecting multiplayer.
Here's
where my
yeah,
problem
it's
comes in.
exploitive if you want to earn more than 500 credits, but it's not exploitive for some asshole to pay $300 and then be able to one hit me with a fair or rocket alt via Django, Boba Fett, whatever which one it was.
And that's exactly the thing, is like, I don't understand how they can, because at least in the case of playing offline mode, you would still have to be grinding to quote unquote exploit it.
Yeah, like,
whereas with money, you're just like, here is my money, I have all these things now, great.
back in the Halo Reach days, did either of you guys ever play Halo at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, hang on. No, but I just noticed that directly below is exactly the point that I just made with the response from one of the devs to it. So hold that thought for a minute, because somebody said you can buy crates and impact multiplayer immediately. How is limiting arcade a reasonable approach? And the response was, with arcade, we set out to let players earn credits offline by a more relaxed game mode, but as a result, we need to make sure it wouldn't be Wait, he just quoted himself. He literally just quoted himself and didn't answer the question.
God. See, no, I was bringing up Halo because this is kind of where I have a problem with both parties involved in this question. I don't think you should be able to grind offline, not against real people, just to get better gear to go back in against real people. And I think Halo did this really well, because if you were connected online and you played like offline modes, either like split screen or with your friends that weren't like, it wasn't official matchmaking,
right,
you would still get your experience points and your credits, but it wouldn't be a really like substantial amount. If you wanted to get crazy high amounts of both, you would have to like play for hours and hours and hours, but there was never a limit. If you actually wanted to put that time in and be that guy who plays custom games with himself for like 23 hours a day for a whole week just to afford like one helmet to hop back in to the matchmaking with,
right,
then, you know, kudos to you. You actually did it. When it comes to this guy and his question, yeah, and with Overwatch, it's even easier, or like I guess it doesn't, not easier. That wasn't the word I wanted to use. It doesn't matter as much because there's nothing you can unlock in Overwatch that's better. It's all
Right.
like cosmetics.
And that's the
But the problem I
that's the
have
main
with this
thing.
the problem I have with this question is like I understand where he's coming from. I don't think there should be a credit limit either. I think it would just be better for them
to get reduced credit.
to get reduced credit offline
Right.
and a decent amount online. I don't think you should be able to play offline and just get everything that you would get online when you're specifically playing an easier mode to have an easier experience, you know? Like, I don't want that
Right.
to sound elitist. I'm saying this now and it feels kind of elitist to me. But there are people out there who are playing this game who don't want to go up against these people. They want to go up against people who have also had to work for all their shit instead of just playing against some AI offline and then hopping into a matchmaking game and saying, look guys, I haven't played a second of matchmaking, but I have all of the best items.
Right. Well, then again, how is that any different from somebody who said, "Look, guys, I haven't played a second of matchmaking, but I have all the items."
Oh, that's just
'cause I bought them."
a problem with microtransactions.
Exactly.
Halo Reach didn't have microtransactions.
So that's where my real issue comes. If you're going to have microtransactions, don't try to limit people from doing offline through actual work what you're allowing people to do through a pay barrier.
yeah.
Like, I would be I agree that like it logically from just any sort of reasonable standpoint, you'd get reduced credits from arcade and you'd get a fairly decent more amount of credits if you were to actually play online, and there wouldn't be microtransactions.
But
I
they
think a
have
really
to
good
be able
example-
to keep making money.
Yeah, if you look at games like League of Legends, where you have two different types of currency. You have influence points, which you earn by playing the game and like leveling up and participating in matchmaking, or even versus AI games and stuff. And you have riot points, which are only used for cosmetics and like two other things that aren't cosmetic, but they don't affect like your strength in game. And there's no way for you to buy influence points, to buy the upgrades to your characters. You have to play to get them. If it was something like that, I'd be fine with it because there'd be no issue, because you can't purchase victory over your opponents, which is like, that's kind of League's whole gimmick, is that like, you can only beat someone if you're better than them. You can't beat them if you buy more money than them. Or you buy more money. You buy more loot boxes or whatever else. I want to buy more money. But it's just frustrating because like the solution is so very clear, but they're not going to do it simply because they're not gonna make money,
because it just isn't financially as sound for them.
All right, should we segue into like more?
Well, there was one last thing that I wanted to say.
Oh,
and that's,
All right.
Jacob, this AMA is taking so long, but fine.
Oh, I'm not. I'm done with the AMA. Unless you guys want one last pretty good goof, but I'll leave that up to you. The only thing that I want to say is, like you were saying with like Overwatch, it's purely cosmetic. Same with like League and everything. And in the case of like TF2, right? The loot boxes do have weapons and stuff in them, but the difference with that is the weapons. The way that I saw someone phrase is the weapons are side grades, not upgrades. So just because you have a different weapon doesn't mean that it's objectively better, because the weapons are intentionally balanced.
Yeah. Also,
So
I
it's
wanted
not
to
like,
get into
oh, I
TF2.
got this. Like, yeah, I got this weapon and now I'm just gonna go around killing people left and right. It's like, no, it still takes skill.
Yeah.
More than look at them and fire missiles. But
when we started to talk about other games, I wanted to get into TF2's loot crate system and how, even though it is just as bad as Battlefront's almost, it works a lot
Right.
better. Which actually, Jacob, you said you're good, right? We can segue into other games. Okay, so let's just start with TF2. So the way TF2's loot box system works is you can either unlock the box, like the box is an item in your inventory. You can unlock that by either playing the game, trading for it, or purchasing one on the Steam Marketplace for actual money. And in order to open it, you have to either buy a key or trade for it. And the keys are a fixed price. And, like, see, when I was first playing the game and they first introduced that, I was like, that's so fucking scummy. That's so scummy. How are you just gonna make us pay for these items that are taking place of actual item drops that we would have gotten? Because I've had days in the past, which I think they altered the drop rates for all the items in the game, but I've had days when they first introduced that where I've gotten, like, nothing but loot boxes.
Right.
For all of my drops that day. But here's why I think it works. And it's because beside the crates dropping, you still do get items that drop.
Right.
And they have their Steam Marketplace so that if you wanted to possibly buy a key for cheaper or buy a crate, if you wanted to buy them to open them, like, you have a choice. They also have the trading. They also have trading, so if you can't buy a key with real money, you can convince somebody to trade with you for items that you either don't want, or they want, or that you're willing to give up to see what you're going to get in your crate. So you could, theoretically, play that whole game that's actually, it's littered with microtransactions, and you could get everything in that game without paying a single penny.
And that's the thing is, like, I agree that, like, I think the whole loot box, like, oh, you gotta buy a key to open it, like, I agree that whole thing is pretty scummy. But I never participated in it, and I was still able to play the game and play it decently. Like, it works.
Well, back in the day, they also had the idle servers, where you could just go sit in an idle server that would kill you, like, every 15 seconds, and it would give you all your items for the day, and then you could immediately from there go to, like, a trading server and then trade for a key.
Oh, Jesus.
I've bought keys before. I've never gotten anything good from a supply crate. I've also bought crafting materials before through a third-party source, which was really scummy.
That's
and
where it
dangerous.
gets, like... That's where, like, you have actual children being exposed to, like, actual gambling rings. Or, like, you know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
hello, CSGO.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have enough time to get into CSGO's issues, and I don't think I'm well educated enough to even speak about it. I just know it's bad.
Long story
Is it still
short,
really bad?
Kids gamble, kids lose money, people who say they found website actually made website, everybody gets in trouble, the end.
Yeah, because I thought
Hey,
they shut
check out
down, like,
this
the
sweet
main...
new website I found.
Just click here. But... Alright, what are we segueing to now? Are we still on... Because I don't have a lot of experience with TF2.
Let's talk about the... oh, Jacob, yeah, you were about to go
Well, I was
into
just
something.
saying, I think we pretty much covered, like, the loot boxes as a whole, and that, like, although we don't necessarily have to like the idea of them, you can still have ways of doing them well without just completely fucking over all the players.
Like Overwatch.
Like
Overwatch does them well. And Overwatch
but-
does it really well because Overwatch has a fixated, like, XP system. So you know how much time it's going to get from... Excuse me. I was getting ahead of myself. You know how much time it's going to take in between each box that you get. And it
Right.
never feels like it's too long.
And not to,
But
like,
with-
display my boner for Overwatch too quickly here, But the reason I love Overwatch so much isn't just because the game's, like, fun to play, and the cast of characters is super interesting and cool. Like, that's all amazing. But what I think makes the game so especially special... Fuck you guys, I hate you.
Wow.
So
we didn't even have to say anything that time.
Alright, the point I'm trying to make is, pick a development team and try to compare it to the dev team from Overwatch. Has there ever been a team of devs that listen to the community as closely and as compassionately as this team does? I don't think there really is, except for, like, an example I can't think of, obviously. But, like, seriously,
it's always
like,
for the best, though.
Well, I mean, for the most part, I would say so. People are complaining that, like, the loot box system was kind of poopy. Like, you'd get the same thing every time, and then the things cost too much credits. And then they were like, okay, so how it works now is we're going to drastically reduce the number of duplicates you see, so that way you'll always be getting new stuff. And then some people kind of complained because it's like, oh, but it's harder to grind to get that legendary skin I want. But in the long run, to me, that's a more fulfilling experience because I'm not getting the, oh, yep, that's the Zarya spray and the Lucio voice line I already have, and I've gotten them 5 times in a row. Because, something like that has happened to me.
I agree with that, because I would always get super pissed when I would get duplicates. But I feel like this is where my... I hate using this word, but I feel like this is where my entitlement as a gamer comes in, because I would hate duplicates in base game, but during events, I would beg for duplicates so I could buy my skins. And then as soon as they reduced the duplicate amount, and I was playing a shit ton of Overwatch during the Halloween event, and I didn't get the Mei skin, I felt cheated because I didn't get any duplicates.
Right.
Yeah. It's not perfect.
And that's them fixing the system that people said needed to be fixed, and then me going, well, fuck the new system. Let me get that Lucio voice line. Let me get 2,000 voice lines of Lucio going, Lucio-O's! Because that's what I want from Overwatch.
So, also, during the Halloween event, I will not disclose how much I spent on loot boxes. More than I should have. Nothing insane, nothing close to the pay barrier for, like, Battlefront or anything. But it's still more than what I wanted to, because I don't have a lot of money, because I'm a broke college student. So, like, it was more than I wanted to, but it wasn't anything, like, super crazy. But I will say this, I got 3 legendary Bastion skins, one of which was a duplicate, and none of them were event skins. And this doesn't really have to do anything with, like, critiquing the system. Well, it kind of does. Like, do you know how soul-crushing it is to see that gold, like, thing flip up into the air? You're like, oh my god, I wonder which Halloween event skin it is, and it's a fucking Bastion skin that I already own from the base game. Oh,
remember the anniversary event, and all I wanted was that Diva skin, and I eventually ended up buying it. But I bought loot boxes. I bought the 5-pack. There's a 5-pack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't bought them in so long, I forgot. I bought the 5-pack. My last 3 all had legendaries. They were all Winston skins, and they were all the same Winston skin.
Oh, Jesus.
I think they need to tweak the legendary ratios with events. I don't want to see any non-legendary event skins in an event, personally. I don't know if they'll ever do that.
Or at least don't make it no base event skins, because then it would be too easy, and their loot box sales would drop. But just make it easier a little bit. Just cut us a fucking break. Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team.
Please, Daddy Jeff. Please.
Please. Please nerf my healers more.
Are we going to talk about Overwatch for a bit?
No, because we have to segue into capitalism before we run out of time. But my parting comment for Overwatch, for me at least, is, like, at least they're adding new things to the base loot boxes. Like, we're getting a bunch of really cool new skins that were revealed at BlizzCon 2017 that I'm really excited to see.
Oh, are those being added to base game?
In 2018, we're going to get Barbarian Zarya, and it's going to be fucking great. Alright, well, any other thoughts on Overwatch from you guys?
Not for the podcast.
Yeah, not for the podcast, but I'll say it right now, and I'll say it again when we do, for some reason, do a podcast on Overwatch. D.Va needs more fucking skins. I swear to fucking God.
Alright, so...
Quit cheating my girl out of having fun! Let her dress up!
Crushing overarching hypercapitalism and how it affects you as a gamer. Alright, I'm gonna try to be as
Alright,
brief as
that
I
was the
can with
podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
No! I had a point to make! Come back, I'll try to be articulate. Alright, so, I will! Oh my god, I'm gonna screw up like 10 times, I bet. Alright, so, the point I'm trying to make is, this
Alright, guys,
system
remember,
of
like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.
I hate you guys.
Let
Alright,
the poor kids speak.
Alright, all I'm gonna say is this. This microtransaction system is proliferating and growing and becoming so huge and imposing before our very eyes, and there is nothing we can do about it. Like, how do you think it's going to be when the next version of Skyrim gets released by Bethesda, and then you have to pay $5 to unlock a basic set of iron armor so you can go kill a mud crab? Because that's what I see happening in the future. You know? Like, it's not going to stop. It's just going to get worse. Yeah, assuming you... And you got this special edition Todd Howard jacks off on your copy and gives it to you personally. It's an extra $10.
He jerks off on the actual disc reading site, so it doesn't work, so you have to buy it again.
You know, you have to call in and order one, and it costs $10 extra to buy a new version of it. Look, we're joking, but this is real, guys. This is happening. Like, every game's gonna have a microtransaction system because it's profitable. It's profitable, and they're gonna keep doing it. And there's nothing we can do because I want to buy their stupid games, even though I shouldn't.
The gaming industry is turning more into a business than it has ever been because with evolving technology, they have the tools now to keep grabbing our money whenever they can take it. Like, that's like, just... That's one of the burdens that comes with making better shit.
Technology accessible.
And so
it's not even like... It's like the accessibility. It's the accessibility. Alright, sorry, Jacob. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things that I keep commonly seeing everywhere on Reddit is like people are just like, "There's nothing we can do about this," and people are like, "Vote with your wallet."
You can't vote with your wallet.
No matter how many people are
that are going to buy it,
not going to buy the game. There's still going to be the people who have the disposable income, who want the game, who want the microtransactions so that they can immediately be good at the game. And who want to just, like, shit on all the people who don't have the money to get all the stuff.
No, this system works for a lot of people.
Like, no matter how much you say, like, don't buy it. Like, there's... The target audience is still going to buy it. Because they don't care about the money. Which is why they just funnel all their money into it.
Socioeconomic privilege, classism, it's all happening right in front of you. You're watching it happen, you know? Like, you can't vote with your wallet because the wealth is going to stay with the target audience because the target audience is going to have the money to buy it and there's nothing you can do because there's like 5 million of them and there's only like 2 million of you and it's so annoying. And there's, the population of people who can't afford to pay whatever the pay barrier is, and the population that can, there's always going to be more people who can't pay. But the amount of people who can't pay, who have access to the tech...
more than make up for it.
Well, no, what I was going to say is, like, yes, the people who can pay and the people who have access but can't pay, you know, they're always going to be disproportionate because of the overall cost it has to even own a gaming system in the first place. Like a PC or an Xbox or a PS whatever. Like, and, I mean, this isn't really, like, we're not really giving you any advice as viewing audience to do anything about it. We're just saying that it sucks. And as 3 broke college kids who maybe have $50 of disposable income between them, there isn't much we can really do ourselves except talk about it.
Yeah.
And make people aware that it's happening.
That's what I was about to say. Like, what if there's there's seriously nothing we can actually do except for force ourselves to take on these positions that these other developers are in and put our fists on the table and say, no more profits, no more money. We're in this for the heart and the soul.
And that's the other thing that's a bit, disturbing, is that, from what I've been seeing, apparently EA has been just, eating up other smaller companies left and right, basically.
Yeah, didn't they just
I
buy the
saw a thread on
Titanfall
that,
studio?
too.
Yeah, I was reading about that, and, basically, they released, the first, Star Wars Battlefront at the same time that Titanfall 2 came out. And apparently Titanfall 2 was a very good game, but it underperformed because it was overshadowed by Star Wars Battlefront. That weakened, the franchise, and that allowed EA to just buy them out, so that Titanfall 3 is just going to be microtransactions to game.
Oh, God. I didn't even play Titanfall, and I just feel bad for the Titanfall fans.
And that's the thing, neither did I, but when I was reading about it, this guy was basically describing it and everything, and it's oh, that actually sounds like a pretty good game.
No, it looks like
I have interest
really
in
cool
this.
game.
Too bad this the series is about to just die.
Yep. Either EA is just gonna scrap the project and then fire everyone who worked at the studio, or fire everyone who worked at the studio, make their own people work on it, and just fuck it over. Like they did Battlefront.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's just sad.
Well, we've got some good things to look forward to in terms of gaming.
Super Mario Odyssey 2.
Super Mario Odyssey was fucking brilliant. Nintendo still has it down pat. However...
God, I'm so glad Nintendo's back. The Wii U was such a tragic, era.
That actually...
Nintendo is releasing a mobile Animal Crossing game.
No, I don't like the sound of that.
See, by all actual logic and common sense, it's a freemium mobile game that involves doing everything you would a normal Animal Crossing game, but there's timers, and you can buy in-game currency to do shit. But, listen to me. I like the concept of this Animal Crossing game because now Tom Nook has access to your real money. Not just your bells. You can give this man real money now. You are genuinely in debt. Real life in debt to Tom Nook now. And I feel like that makes the game more intense.
I also really like the idea of just... things will just be behind a paywall, but it'll be just you have to pay off actual money to pay off your debt to Tom Nook.
That was the big joke for a while.
Jesus.
But I mean, hey, I'm excited for that. When it comes to mobile, when it comes to mobile games, for me, I don't really care about waiting because I'll log in for 2 seconds and I'll forget about it.
It's like Magikarp Jump.
I was about to say with Magikarp Jump, I would just log into that when I had no internet and had nothing to do, and I'm like, well, time to check on Shitface McBoogerballs again. Let's see how good this Magikarp's doing. Capcom is still fucking up, and people are starting to realize Capcom is fucking up finally.
What'd they do this time, specifically?
Well, people are up in arms with what they said about the Switch. They said that they're probably never going to develop big titles for the Switch just because... I forget what their exact quote was, but it was something fucking stupid, and everyone called them out for being fucking stupid. Also, they're finally releasing the next edition of the new Street Fighter game. And it has, all of the base game content that was supposed to be in the first release. Which is why I'm officially switching over from Street Fighter to Tekken, because Tekken's had their shit down pat for forever. So
But you're main, Tyler. You're main.
yeah, I'll see what fucking happens when Street Fighter V Arcade Edition comes out. But I'm seriously, like, after this podcast is over, I'm about to go buy Tekken. I don't even care.
Nice.
I'm over it.
I'm probably gonna go play Diablo for like 12 hours straight. Because new season, new me.
Ooh. There's that new Dragon Ball Fighter game coming out that... Oh, shit, no, everyone's mad at that right now, too.
Wait,
Because
why?
everyone was super excited for it, so they kept announcing new characters, and then they also announced, like, hey, guys, we're selling a DLC Season Pass for 8 characters, and it's gonna cost a lot of money. And everyone thought this was gonna be the savior of the hyper-fighting genre. I don't know, I'm still excited for it. Basically, I hate to say that, like, we just kind of have to accept these changes and just start rolling along with it until we
Well,
physically can't anymore.
We
but
don't have to accept them. We just have to learn how to coexist with them in a way that doesn't completely break the bank or go against our personal beliefs.
that's kind of what I was about to say. Like, you live with the changes until it gets to a point where
'Cause
it's
that's-
asking you to sacrifice your firstborn and your
Which I'll probably do. if
and
it's-
your cousin twice removed to unlock the fucking 4th Dragon Ball.
I would sacrifice my entire family if it meant I could get another Elder Scrolls game that wasn't Skyrim. That
Dude, I would sacrifice my whole family if I could just get another Diablo fucking
Oh my
DLC.
god! Like, I don't even need, like, a Diablo 4. I'd be happy with another, like, axe-sized DLC like Reaper of Souls, because that shit was
Yeah.
so good!
Dude, I
Ugh.
loved Reaper of Souls.
But Blizzard doesn't need to do that because their seasonal system still makes them enough money, and the Diablo community isn't nearly as big as the other communities for their games, so they don't really have a market. Unfortunately. Even though... God, I wish.
Dude, when is Overwatch 2 coming out?
Never. Overwatch is going to be here until... Overwatch is going to be around until the day the sun explodes.
And they're actually in talks for making the Overwatch movie a thing right now.
I know!
Are
I'm
you
so
kidding
excited!
me?
I'm so excited for that. So excited.
That made my day. Alright.
We're getting that. We're getting that, and we're getting a Mario movie.
Okay, Tyler, we have to end it on a happy note.
Okay,
This
here's the
entire
happy note.
podcast-
Here's the happy note. You ready? The studio that's making the Mario movie made Minions.
I'm just going to stop recording right now. Bye.
Alright, yeah, I think we're done here.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.